Imagine you are sitting in a dark theater. This movie is 2001: A Space Odyssey. There is no dialogue for the first 20 minutes, just landscape, monkeys, and a bone spinning in the air. Now look around the theater. In 2026, half the audience would be checking their notifications by minute 5. We've turned boredom into a cardinal sin. We've traded the slow, transformative arc of a story for the cheap 15-second high of a payoff. We aren't just losing our attention spans, we are losing our ability to experience art that requires a soul. The slow burn is dead, and we are the ones who killed it.
I believe we did.
Let's be honest with ourselves. When was the last time you sat through a 3-minute tracking shot without feeling the itch? That phantom vibration in your pocket, that urge to see how much time is left in the chapter. We are currently living through a biological hijacking. Our brains are being rewired by what I call the dopamine casino. Every time you scroll, you are pulling the lever. Every shot is a hit, and the problem is, once you spend 3 hours a day huffing 15-second hits of a pure adrenaline, a masterpiece like Better Call Saul doesn't feel like prestige TV. It feels like work. Critics call it pacing issues. I call it brain rot. We've become so accustomed to the inciting incident happening in the first 30 seconds that we've forgotten that the most meaningful parts of life and art happens in the quiet. We've traded the forest for the fire. We want the explosion without the fuse. But here's the controversial truth. If you can't handle the fuse, you don't actually deserve the explosion. Modern audiences have been conditioned to believe that if nothing is happening, the story is failing. But in a slow burn, everything is happening in the silence. The micro expressions, the atmosphere, the tension. When we demand faster, we are demanding thinner. This isn't just a you problem, it's a systemic one. Hollywood has noticed your twitchy thumb. The slow burn used to be the bread and butter of the mid-budget film. Movies that cost $30 million took their time and relied on character. But those movies are disappearing. Why? Because the algorithm doesn't reward patience. If a Netflix movie doesn't hook a viewer within the first 2 minutes, they bounce. Data scientists are literally telling writers to move the climax earlier. They are trimming the fat, but the fat is where the flavor is. Think about The Bear. People call it stressful, but it's the one of the few modern shows that understands the burn. Yet even there you see the pressure to keep the cuts fast, the music loud, the stakes constant. We are losing the chamber piece. We are losing the movies where 2 people just sit in a room and talk until the tension becomes unbearable. We've reached a point where boring is used as an objective criticism rather than a subjective failure of the viewer. We've professionalized our impatience. We call a slow movie pretentious because it asks us to do something we've forgotten how to do. Sit still. Nothing encapsulates the depth of the slow burn better than the "wait for it" caption. It's a literal plea for your attention. It's the creator saying, I know your brain is screaming to swipe away, but I promise there is a reward at the end. This has bled into our media consumption. We watch shows while on our phones. We treat cinema like background noise. We are grazing on content rather than consuming art. When you watch a movie at 1.5x speed, which yes, is a feature people actually use, you aren't consuming the story. You are just downloading data. You are getting the what, but completely missing the how. The how is the art, the way a camera lingers on a grieving mother, the way the wind sounds in a desert before a shootout. If you speed that up, or if you check your phone during it, you haven't seen the movie. You just read a Wikipedia summary with pictures. Subtext is the first casualty of a short attention span. Subtext requires you to hold two thoughts at once. It requires to notice that what a character is saying isn't what they are feeling. But subtext takes time to build. It requires a burn. In modern landscape, writers are being forced to be more on the nose. If the audience is distracted, you have to tell them exactly how to feel. You get exposition dumps. You get characters explaining their motivations out loud because the director is afraid that if they don't, the viewer who is currently checking Instagram will get confused and turn it off. We are losing the art of the unsaid. Compare the original Alien to a modern blockbuster. In Alien, the creature is a shadow, a suggestion, a slow crawling dread. In a 2026 blockbuster, we'd see the monster's face in the first 10 minutes, and it would blow something up every 15. We have replaced atmosphere with stimulation. So, what's the remedy? It's not deleting social media. That's a fantasy. The cure is the rebellion of stillness. It's a conscious decision to be bored. Boredom is the gateway to deep thought. When you allow a scene to linger, your brain stops looking for the hit and starts looking for the meaning. You start to notice the texture of the wall, the lighting, the way the actor's hand trembles. You move from what happens next to what does this feel like. The slow burn isn't a genre, it's a respect for the audience's intelligence. It's the filmmaker saying, I trust you to sit here with me. When we reject slow media, we are essentially saying, I don't trust myself to be alone with my thoughts for more than 30 seconds. We need to reclaim the long form. We need to watch movies that make us uncomfortable with their pace. We need to read books that take 100 pages to get started. Because the things in life that actually matter, relationships, grief, mastery, love, none of those are fast burns. And if we lose our taste for the slow burn in art, we will eventually lose our taste for it in life.
To physically drive there and yell at the border guards, which we're doing, but it won't be fast enough.
There's got to be a way.
Here is the honest, uncomfortable truth. The industry will keep giving us fast food cinema as long as we keep buying it. If we continue to reward the 90-minute action slop over the 3-hour masterpiece, the masterpieces will stop being made. We are currently training a generation of creators to be content producers instead of artists. An artist wants to change your soul. A content producer wants to retain your views. There is a massive difference. If you find yourself getting restless during a slow scene, don't blame the director. Ask yourself, why can't I be still? What am I running from? The death of the slow burn is actually the death of the quiet self. It's the constant need for external noise to drown out the internal silence. The next time you are about to hit that 10-second skip button, don't. Sit with the discomfort. Let the scene breathe. Let the story burn slowly. Because once the fire is gone, all you're left with is ash and a very, very short memory of what you just watched. Art isn't meant to be consumed. It's meant to be lived in. Thanks for watching. If you're still here, congratulations. You have an attention span. Let's use it for something good. Don't forget to enjoy cinema. Have a good day.